Practice Test 4. Part 9. Question 109. What is the process used to detect gas when entering a trench? Gas sniff tester. Gas sniff tester will detect gas when entering a trench. Use a gas sniff tester to detect gas in a trench. Question 110. On a large commercial job, before turning the power on, who do you contact? The inspector, who then contacts the electric company. Large commercial job, before turning power on, contact the inspector, who contacts the electric company. Before turn power on, contact inspector, who then contacts electric company. Question 111. What would be the first step in diagnosing the problem if a conveyor belt the first section is running fine but the second section higher up has stopped? Check the reset button. Check the reset button. Is first step diagnosing problem. A conveyor belt first section, running fine. Second section higher up has stopped. First step diagnosing problem. A conveyor belt first section, running fine. Second section higher up has stopped. Check the reset button. Question 112. In a kitchen, countertop outlets should be spaced a maximum of how far apart? 48 inches. Space kitchen countertop outlets 48 inches max. Kitchen countertop outlets, spaced maximum of 48 inches apart. Question 113. The code as to temporary power service requirements is: a disconnect below the service meter. Disconnect below the service meter is temporary power service requirement by code. Per code, temporary power service requires disconnect below the service meter. Question 114. A 20 HP induction motor has a full load current of 54 amps on a 240 volt circuit with a phase angle of 30 degrees. What is the apparent power of the motor? 22,450. 54 amps times 240 volts times 1.732 equals via apparent power of 22,450. 20 HP induction motor, full load current 54 amps on 240 volt circuit, with phase angle of 30 degrees. Apparent power of the motor is 22,450. 54 amps times 240 volts, times 1.732, equals via apparent power of 22,450. 20 HP induction motor, full load current 54 amps on 240 volt circuit, with phase angle of 30 degrees. Apparent power of the motor is 22,450. Question 115. A standby generator at a hospital will restore electric power within 10 seconds of power interruption. Electric Code 517. Hospital standby generator will restore electric power within 10 seconds of power interruption. Standby generator in hospital will restore electric power within 10 seconds of power interruption. Question 116. If a new circuit has been just wired and when turning on a switch, the light bulb burns brightly for a second and then goes out. What is the cause? The light bulb burned out. New circuit wired, switch on, light burns bright then goes out because the bulb burned out. New circuit wired, turning on a switch, the light bulb burns brightly for a second and then goes out. Caused by light bulb burned out. Question 117. In the figure below, the 240 volt single phase feeder supplies a branch circuit panel that has an improperly balanced load of 57 amperes on one ungrounded conductor and 45 amperes on the other ungrounded conductor. Then the grounded conductor has a load of 12 amperes. 240 volt, single phase feeder supplies a improperly balanced branch circuit panel. Load of 57 amperes on one ungrounded conductor. 45 amperes on other ungrounded conductor. Then the grounded conductor has load of 12 amperes. 240 volt, single phase, unbalanced circuit panel. One conductor, 57 amps. The other has 45 amps. Subtract 45 from 57. 12 amps load to ground from unbalanced circuit panel. End of practice test 4.